Everyone, I'm Gerone Wright here again, and you're joining me on my Geronification channel. In this video, I'm going to be discussing that of King Arthur and what it is that this character truly stood for in his time, and why he's being commemorated now as this most wonderful king, and also behind the legendary myth of the Excalibur sword, I believe it is. Yeah, these guys, people, they're my discovery through my paranormal experience and encounter. I pretty much done narrowed this thing down to how these characters are boasting of bloodlines and how they genetically altered themselves from the originating founding genetics of mankind, which was ape, African, coming through the Asian world, Egypt, all of them. And there's a massive record that actually depicts how it was all done. And most of it is captured in Renaissance artwork and in sculptures, and there's graphic details of how it was all done, and animals that contributed to those changes. Which, if you think about it, it all logically makes sense for the most part, because one always must ask themselves, how do you become from the most hardcore image, I guess the best way to say it, of that of being an ape, in most cases, I mean the blackest of black apes, then through to blackest of Africans, and then you have these changes that where you're changing and changing and changing and trying to make mankind come, which a lot of people have been buying all of this time. You know what I mean? But when you start getting into our white counterparts, that's where you see extreme indifferences in the eyes, the hair. I mean, and the likenesses. I mean, they definitely deviate dramatically from that of our ape ancestor. It's my position that all of this has been going on because of the fact that there's been creatures that were selected and their genetics were intervened with that of mankind's genetics, and this is where you got these different likenesses. I'm talking about lions, horses, hippopotamuses, even crocs, elephants. I mean, and the list goes on and on and on and on. Lions, tigers, and bears. Oh my, yeah. Stole that again from the Wizard of Oz. And what's going on is these kings and queens are bragging of what they did to genetically alter themselves from that of mankind. Now, with King Arthur, for example, about him pulling this Excalibur sword from the rock, and then there was another one where he received a sword from the lake. All of these people is genetic references about how they genetically overcame those genetics in the founding stone. Pulling that sword from the rock is meaning, therefore, that he got the key from out of the rock. I mean, he was a key factor in utilizing his body as a sacrificial tool to genetically bridge himself to change the genetics of mankind. From that point, from his era, through to the next stage, in which calls for other likenesses and genetic creations of that of mankind. And that's what that's all about. That's what his story is about. That's what most of all the ancient Renaissance stories are about. That's what the biblical stories are about. This is what all of the texts, ancient texts, are suggesting. And pretty much every passage in those texts pretty much is all talking about how they made a genetic overcoming from one point to the next. Well, anyway, I'm going to show you through. I got different pictures here of King Arthur, and I try to find the oldest images. So therefore, because the oldest are always in the rawest of form, and they give you detail, graphic detail of what is there, undeniable detail. Now these are all images that you can just Google, and you can Google King Arthur's paintings or ancient art or whatever, Renaissance art of King Arthur, and you'll run across some of these images that I'm pulling up here. Now, when you look at this, you see King Arthur. When I look at this, I see King Arthur, and I see first of all that King Arthur is wearing the cloak, meaning the felt, the skin of the animal that he actually is saying, okay, I genetically overcame this creature. Now he's not inside me. I'm wearing him on the outside. I'm not wearing him on the inside no more. You know, and this is what he's stating by that. This felt that he's wearing, I'm giving that actually as being that of the ape. He's wearing it on the outside. What did he do to genetically overcome the ape? How did he beat those genetics? Well, he's telling you. If you look in the side of his cheek in the darkened area where they put these transparent images, you start seeing how he overcame. And there's one creature right there. There's the left nostril. There's a slit coming down from the mouth. There's the nose actually right there. Here's the mouth. You see that, people? Look. See the mouth line going right there? There's the eye right there. You see the head of that creature right there? Now, incredibly enough, that creature has two heads. There's mutations that they're showing you that was created from these genetics that actually, I mean, these people were wizards at what they were doing. And I mean, there were ancestral phases that are not in our history, but they knew about. Now, on the opposite side of this, look at the face of that almost of a man. Now, check this out. Now, you have a creature facing off this way here. And now I'm going to show you where this creature came from, because this creature is not even in our history or have a name for the simple fact because this is a mutation. It almost has like a slash rhino slash ape's face. But I'm going to show you something in a minute here. Check this out. Again. There's a nostril, I wonder if I can draw this out for you. But here's the line, the separating line like the dogs have between both lips, where it separates one lip for another. You know how the dog have like that separating line right there coming up the middle, and then there's one lip over here, the top lip, and then the other's over here, and then there's the open mouth area, and then the bottom lip is right there. You see that right there? Now check this out. This is what I'm telling you, where this gets crazy. On the back of that guy's face, where his eye is coming out, his face is shared. There's a face of a mankind image there, right there. Look, there. The eye for this guy is also the eye for this guy, facing back the opposite way. There's his nose, there's his eye, and there's his mouth. So you have a two-headed creature sharing the same head, with one likeness being that of the animal on this side, and the likeness of that of a man. And there's this mouth there. Mouth line, top lip, bottom lip, chin, and nose. And then look at it, I mean, and you can see the being. They're sharing the head. This one is looking off this way, and this creature is looking off this way, and they're sharing the same eye. Can you see that, people? Let me bring that in closer so you can get a good look at that. You see that? Look at this. See those lips? Look at that lip. I'm right there at the mouth opening, right there on the lip. There's the nose. There's the chin. And there's the eye almost seemingly looking back at you. Now look at it. Actually, it almost looks like a dog face. Now look at this creature looking the other way, and they're sharing the same head. These are the mutations, these bloodlines that are created. And it gets better than this. Hold on. So stay with me. Now, you can take that, and if you look in this darkened area, there are multiple morphine faces. Let me see if I can find a nose there, because I'm looking at this from backwards now. And it actually gets difficult. That face there is more easier and cleverly to see. Let me see if I can. Oh God. I might have to come around to that side and look at it, because this is the snout of yet another creature, but it creates a bigger face right there. Let me see if I can actually find that face for you, because it's all right. Yeah, I can. Right there, there's a nostril. There's a nostril there. Let me see if I can. I'm gonna have to do this from backwards. This will be the other. That would be the right nostril. There's another nostril coming down through the lip. Here's the lip line right there, the mouth opening right there, and the bottom mouth opening would be right there, like right in here. And all of that is in there, and it creates that beast is a cross between, it seems like the snout between of an ape and a horse mutation right there in his face right there. That beast. Okay, and the whole area here. Now I drew some of it out in some, and it also has that of an ape. And if it was looking at me, I'm looking at it from backwards. But I drew some of it out when I lost my ink here on this image, when I captured it. It depends on how you captured it. Right there, you see the ape-like looking creature, and then there's a woman-like right there, and there's a head. There's an eye, there's a nose, and the mouth is right there at the ape's eye where the mouth is. It's a head on top of a head, okay? But it's more than that. It's actually more than that. And I mean, to get into it all, but it all goes down to this man is stating how he genetically overcame from the ape ancestor and the black man. Now, wherever the ape is, and wherever the presence of the ape is, this is what I love about these images. There is the mother of creation. The mother of creation, you'll hear me mention her in all my videos, because she's the witch-like woman. Okay? The witch. I call her the witch. She's the mother of creation, and she appears everywhere the ape does. So, wherever I finger the ape as being, she is there as well, too. And that ape is in the presence of all mankind. So where you see these depictions honoring these bloodlines, these changed bloodlines, you will see her being commemorated as well. Now, you don't see a woman here until I have to show her to you. Alright? But that woman is there in his face. Where? She's hiding. Well, she's not really hiding. She's right there if you look at her. She's actually wearing the crown, sharing the crown with him. Hair and all. Look at his deformed ear. There she is right there. This is her right eye. There's over her eyebrow. There's her left eye over top of her eyebrow. Here's her eye. Her nose is there. Here's her mouth right there. And here's her elongated chin right there. Created in his ear. Sharing the crown with him and his hair. Hard to believe, isn't it? Let me see if I can bring that up. I actually have it highlighted in this image. See her face better? Right there? I have it highlighted. Eye, nose area, mouth, chin. Even has the lines in the lip. Yeah, like a person that's dehydrated. Yeah, it's all there in the picture. So when you Google it, all you have to do is just go to it now, and you'll be able to see it, and you'll see all of the other morphing images that I'm actually telling you what they are, and they all are creatures that show you how this guy genetically sacrificed his body to overcome our ancient ancestors' genetics. And even with the story of his knights at the round table, each one of those knights, if you look closely at some of the older images, the paintings, they capture that each one of the knights are wearing, then that goes to show you how the artists had knowledge of these ancient genetic manipulations, because each one of the knights at the round table, their helmets have a different creature on its head. Some of them has on the helmet, it has a attached to his helmet, it's either a horn being, a bird, and all that. They all have different heads of these creatures on their helmets, and then their swords are going into the center of the table, all touching each other, showing you that those individuals all genetically sacrificed their bodies with each one of those individual creatures, and then brought them back to the round table where they were all put in a cauldron cocktail like way. And there was a genetic chemistry created, which wherein a new bloodline was created. Excuse me. And new genetics. And this is what's being going on about what's happening here. All right, about what's going on now. That symbol, which is all throughout Spain, and it actually then became modernized now and all of that. That's what this mess represents. It represents these altered bloodlines. Yeah. As I was going to make this video, I'm thinking to myself, actually, this stuff is going on now. These are actually crimes against humanity, because for the simple fact that these bloodlines that are being created, and this stuff is going on unbeknown to the masses of the many, and they are the ones that are being sacrificed, because these genes are being introduced back into them. Okay, and as a result, there's a trail of altering, of sickness, of plagues, almost like an AIDS like virus left in the wake of this. And these people know what was going on, and were pretty much immune to it, because it's almost like they were leaving a trail of this mess behind them. And the rest of the people are actually being sacrificed almost as if they're guinea pigs. You know what I mean? So these chemistries, and yet, I mean, some of the stuff that this guy did is still yet to be seen, because this process goes on and on and on for 400, 500, 600 plus years, and then it's retapped into it again after the effects is going on. That's why they have all of this artwork out for these for the record. After this guy's hoodoo or voodoo wears the hell off, this cocktail chemistry of what he did genetically to not just himself but to other civilizations and other nations, they actually take and reinduce it again. And this is what this is all about. It's reintervention. It's recyclination of all of these processes of these genetic manipulations that's going on. So, and the record, and this is what you can see in the record. This is not me just talking, people. This is a record that is shown in the artwork, and they're commemorating it. All right. Here's an image of King Arthur's tomb. And I want to show you something about that. And it's the King Arthur's tomb. It's 1854. And Arthur's tomb, Rosetta, whatever that is. I want to call your attention to some of this, because it looks like a cartoon at first. But I made some highlights on this when I didn't really have much ink there. I did get some ink after the fact, but I've been spending a small fortune on this ink too, by the way. Hold on, I put that right in there. Alright. I'm going to call your attention to, which would be the obvious thing that I can call your attention to. Alright, where I made my highlights here. First of all, in this guy's hair, leaning over, I guess the sculpture here on top of the tomb, which would be of King Arthur. Right here in the front, there's a penis, a brown penis in this guy's hair. And out of that penis, it shows it actually shooting a worm-like sperm out towards her. Now, obviously she's pushing him away, but it's showing you this genetic connection right here. Okay? Right there. Alright? Now, next, it shows King Arthur, with the way his hands is, spiritually uplifted, and show that these are genetics going through the man and being bridged over to the woman. Okay. Now check this out. You can see the actual faces. It goes through the darkness, and there's even a face here in the darkness, but they're transparent. Let me see if I can bring that in closer for you without distorting that. There is even a likeness there, almost of King Arthur. I don't know how much of that you can actually see. Let me see what. Let me come to this other side. I'm looking at the. All right, there. This is better. There's the king's crown right there. There's his forehead coming around. There's his nose. There's his mouth. There's his eye, and he even has his black likeness right there, showing you that this guy there what's happening is what this is stating is that the black genetics are being extracted, and that's why you see this darkened area here, leaving behind the blackness which this man evolved through. At this point, it may sound funny, he was closer to being black than he was to being white. Because they're telling you that even though he was more lighter in color, he was still black in a sense because of his genetics. And these people knew that. So what was going on is that they were genetically furthering themselves from that of that black gene, which is actually a dominating gene. And that's what that was. Okay? Now, this is what this is also showing you here. And it shows you these transcending mutations, well, faces, showing you that these genes are being bridged over. Now, what else is being said here? Now, what's being said up here, there's also on the, I don't know if I can show you here. Back over here, well, up on the top, if you Google this image, let me bring this up, because I'm going to come back to that. Here, you'll see a bunch of, like you can see, a face here. What it's showing you is that how these black genes were destroyed. You know how they're showing you this? They're showing you like the way this guy is bridged over. Saying, look, he's bridged over. His shield on his back is going over, and the end of his shield is over there. Is hitting a horse. There's a horse back there in the distance, but his shield reaches over to touch the horse, and it's showing that these black genes were broken down by the use of being bridged over that horse. And that's what this is all about. And it's showing you that, it's showing you a process of how all of these chemistries calls for a so-called better gene to be created, and for different likenesses in this guy's image. And that's, I guess, if you want to call it playing God, because they say God created mankind in his image. So this is what's going on. Now, there's something else about this that I want to show you. See if I can pull this image in closer. Now, down here, if you look on the tomb, this is where the images are verifying. They're self-verifying. Was there something else? I thought there was an ape in the tent. Yeah. Okay, yeah. If you if you Google the image right here in King Arthur's hand, right there, or his the image of him where his hands is clasped over. If you turn that image sideways like this here, I put a face in here for you. You'll see a face of an ape, just like I have it highlighted there. And here, you see the face and the image of a lion, transparent image. So what I'm telling you to do, if you take that image, King Arthur's tomb, Rosetta, okay, if you turn it, if you download it and turn it, just like that, you see our black ape ancestor's face right in here, just at the tip of his clasped hands, and it's showing you the direction that these genetics is going. They're being extracted. Alright? And it also shows you that the lion is in there, was in this chemistry there too. That there, the lion is a poor lion, but it shows you that these genetics, these genes were bridged over, and subsequently, that's how we got this likeness of this guy right here. Which makes damn good sense, because if you look at him, he carries the full head of hair, and the almost like the mane of the lion. You see how he looks like that, that image has that image, that look. And that's why you see lions in there with Saint Jerome and many others of these images where the lines actually appear side by side with these guys, because they're telling you that they took on the gene of that creature, or cross-reference themselves with the gene over the creature over a period of time to break down the origins of this guy genes right here, that ape creature. And that's what this is all about. Now, I said that this stuff is all be self-verifying, right? You don't need no scientists to verify any of this. Okay. Down here, where I guess this is supposed to be King Arthur, his face, if you look at it, he has two faces. His face is looking, and her face is looking like if they're looking down. But if you look at his face, I'm going to bring it in closer, because when I bring it in closer, you're going to see what I'm telling you. He's supposed to be, that's supposed to be his face right there, just this little piece right there. But if you look at it in the elongated sense, he has the face of an ape right there. If you look at just the white portion, it's his face right there. Just that's that little half an inch area. But if you look at it in the whole sense right there, you'll see the face of a monkey, the darkened area. And this is how they cleverly, let me see if I have it highlighted for you. Is that my highlighted version? This is not my highlighted version. My highlighted version is actually there. See the face of the monkey? That's the, look at that. It's actually a monkey's face there. And with her head tilted down, okay, her face is normal. But on top, there's a face of the witch-like woman, who I dub as the mother of creation. The ape and the mother of creation, and it's showing you that their genes is given to this, I guess it would be that princess being crowned there, or knight being, whoever being crowned there. It looks like a princess, okay? And those genes are being given of the ape and the mother of creation, which I know which those genes are there, they're representing, are being placed in the here. Now check this out though. And remember when I told you over here, up here, there's a horse back over there, and the shield, touching the shield. Long and behold, down in here, if you look up in here, right behind her, look how she's down, she's being bridged over, and look, there's a cow at her backside. So it's showing you how these creatures contributed to breaking down the genes of the ape. And another gene, well, reptilian gene too, but I'm going to tell you, I can tell you, I can go back further than this, but I'm trying not to lead on too much, because I don't want people taking my stuff and running with it and not knowing what the hell they're talking about. It seems like I could actually stop that, because I know where all of this stuff originated at, where it came from, and it actually came from beyond our world. But I'm not really afraid of that, but I can explain it all from beginning to end. And you know what I mean? It's like and I'm only giving this to you is somewhere not even in the middle. It's like somewhere in between. You know what I mean? But I can give it to you. I'm just giving, in each one of my videos, it's like I'm going all over the place and giving this stuff to you, but I can tie it all together to make it one complete story from beginning, and there is no ending. So, but from the beginning coming through to where we're at here. So I don't believe that nobody can actually do this, to be totally honest with you. Can take it and try to explain it in a way. But what I need is some experts to put this thing together in a way that it's supposed to be explained and supposed to be stated. You know what I mean? All I'm doing is giving it to you in layman's terms and showing you pictures. Yeah. Alright. Now, that monkey here, those genes being broken down, showing you the cow and stuff over there, that monkey can be realized in this woman's skirting, which I'm going to show you. Up here, right here, in its own form right there, there's another monkey's face, right? The monkey is shown broken down to where even the monkey become light skinned. I already had that. I had the where I showed you with those monkeys, where I showed you how the monkey was altered along with mankind. Let me see if I have that. No, I don't have that here. That would be nice if I did. I might have. Where I showed you that monkey was altered with the likenesses of mankind as well. Do I have that? Maybe not. Now, I don't have that image, I guess. I don't have that there. But the likenesses of monkey was actually altered with that of mankind through these genetic bridgings. And I wish I had that image here, but I don't have it. But anyway, the orangutan, if you can picture with me, the baboon, the chimpanzee, all of those different variations in the monkey was a cause and a reaction, just like there was that cause and reaction from the genetic manipulation that called for all the different likenesses on the continents of Africa of mankind, which later evolved out into Egypt and the other Asian worlds. My position is that there's an ancient record that not only show how we came about in that sense with our different likenesses and different features and faces and skin pigmentations and all that, it also shows how the monkey actually evolved out. And there is one variation of the monkey there. There's another a lighter likeness, and coming over here on the tomb, there's an even lighter likeness of this monkey. So not only were we affected by this process, this altering process, this ancient altering process and manipulation, so was the species of the monkey. And there is a record of it. Okay? Now, not only can I show that there's a record for that for us, but also for the monkey. Let me see where I thought in here in her skirting somewhere was an ape, and I don't know where that highlight is there, but she has an ape, and I can't see it now, but I thought I had it highlighted somewhere. Let me see. Oh, I do have it highlighted on here. There it is right there. This must be, let me see if I can, that must be it right here. Let me see if I'm at the top of the head. Yes, I am. Yes. There's the ape right there. Look. Look at the ape cloaked into her skirting. And when I tell you that they have the most defining feature about this thing is the lips. Let me see if I can pull it up so you can see the lips on this thing. And then I'm going to bring it in. Alright. The closer I come out, I lose it out there. But what it is it's almost like a silhouette, like a shadow of the ape. And I can see it good here. There's the top of the head. There's a shadow. I'm thinking, let me see if this is at the nose so I can see if I'm on point here. Yeah, in that area would be the nose. But the lips they have this thing with lips and the line and everything. Hold on. Because there's the lip line going across the center. Right there. They even have nerve to have the top lip, how our lips would be. Look, like that line, like that cutting line right there. And then the bottom line as well too. They got nerve to have the lips to this thing defined in a way where you can basically, you can't really see the monkey, but you know how the monkey's mouth area is two-tone? You can tell that part is right there. And then it has the eyes of this thing like shadowed out. It's like a silhouette of the monkey, but the lips is what gives this thing away. Look at those lips. And when you Google this image, look at it, and then pull away from it. And when you pull away from it, you can actually see that this is what this actually is, because the lips are definite. You know what I mean? The way the lips are made, how we would make lips like that, dip right there on the top and come back up and then come back out. And it has a separated line there, and then the bottom lip. And then the way the monkey's face, the ape's mouth is made. That, oh gosh, let me see. I had that. I don't know why I keep going over here. Where's that? Where's the ape's mouth at? I can never seem to find anything when I'm actually looking for it. Yeah, I guess I'm going to have to get that up too. I got so many files and papers now, people, that it's just unbelievable. Alright, I'm going to have to let that go too and keep this video rolling. But my thing is that they have it set up to where those two separating features of the ape, where the ape's mouth is light in here, where the skin, it's like a crusted skin there around the mouth. You know how it is, and then it goes into the fur, and then you can actually see how the ape's eyes would be right there, and you would see a pupil there and a pupil there. The way they have the centerpiece for the nose. All of this here is like the image of it, showing you the direction of the genetics. And then if you look over here on the other side of the tree, there's an image of the witch-like woman, the mother of creation, and her image is right there, down here in that corner right there. So when you Google the image, look for all of that stuff there, and you have ape 1 here. Well, actually ape 2, because that's ape 1. Then here, and then over here you'll see another ape image over in here where it was getting lighter, showing you how those genes were actually broken down of the ape. And it's all shown here on this casket, you know what I mean? In a way that they were broken, the genes here were broken down. Alright, is there anything else I want to say about this guy? Alright, I'm going to talk a little bit about this image. This is Arthur. Now, there's 2 images with him, with here, with this image. This is another King Arthur image, boasting of his bloodline, on how he contributed to breaking down these genes from their African origins or ape origins to assist in bringing them into a more version of that of, I guess, royal blood, and turning them into the state of which these people and their likenesses are today. All right. Remember the ape that I keep talking about, the ape and the witch woman and the other images. Remember, you keep them in mind. Well, long and behold, right here, there's a reptilian ape image right there. You see the mouth? I'm at the mouth. There's the bottom chin. There's the reptilian lines, like the vine, the squiggly lines that gives this guy. That's how I know he's a reptilian ape, because these lines here identifies this guy as a reptilian-like ape. His eyes up in here, and then long and behold, in his forehead, there is our mother of creation. There's her witch. There's her eye. There's a witch-like nose. There's her mouth, and here's her chin right here, and her elongated neck right there. She's attaching his head right there. Now you got to be careful, because there's 2 images of this Arthur image, so you got to make sure that you get the right one, because you might get the wrong one and say, "What, Jerome? I don't see that stuff." The other painting, there's 2 of them with Arthur in it. There's one out there that has, just because this one is a shorter version, just from here to here, and then there's another version where there's a woman with a shield, and you'll see her off over to this side. Excuse me, over here to this side, over here. So there's actually 2 paintings out, I would imagine. You want this one here, this shorted version, okay? Because then you will see the reptilian ape right here, and then the witch-like woman right there. And there's no mistaking those 2 images now that I actually showed them to you and highlighted them for you. You see that? It's showing you genetics. These people use horses, they use themselves, they use men, they use homosexual acts, they use lesbian acts to get these genes extracted from the targeted bodies to actually take and further everything that they were doing in these cult-like experiments. And they left in their wake death and destruction, pretty much. Alright, because once these invading genes were bridged into other bodies, those bodies were being dying off, or either in an accelerated the extinction process, whereas these people in their genes move forward, and that's what's happening. So look in the wake of what is happening here, and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. Alright, now what else is there to be realized about this painting? Well, up here in his sleeve, right here, there's multi-dimensional images. You can see this image about maybe 5 or 6 different ways as a whole, and as a reptilian face. But I'm going to show you the littler faces, which I highlighted. Look at that, guys. Lip, Mouth, nose, eye, and eye. Look at that. Right there. At his sleeve. Right there. You see that? Then over here, there's another face heading off the other way. Now you can pull away from this image from its further state, and it'll create a whole face. And this is what this crock about this Excalibur sword is all about. If you look on this sword, there's even faces shown. It is showing you a breakdown in genes. And that's what this story, this myth, this tale is about, this Excalibur sword. This is what the commemoration of King Arthur is all about. How he sacrificed his body, just like many others did, to alter the genes from that of their origins, their original origins, which is that of black man and of ape. And that's why you have apes, people, and witch-like women, which is dubbed as mother creation, always in these images, because they must show what they did in their contribution to altering us. Now you see how I backed that image off, and it seems like there's a witch-like woman there, and her whole face is there, wearing his sleeve as a Madonna-like hoodie. You see that? You see her face right there, the witch-like right there? That would be her mouth, nose, and eye, with it backed off. So the further you back off of it, you will see a green-faced witch right there. And she's like wearing his sleeve, showing you what these genes, what's going on from here, through the horse, through his night. And this can be, I can show you this at the round table. I can show you with this with him pulling it. Oh, that's what we got to do. The Excalibur sword, for him pulling it from the water as well too. I'm gonna go there too. But wherever you see this man in a picture, in a painting, they are showing how he genetically contributed to altering the genes of mankind. That is the true story of King Arthur. That's what he's all about. Now, I'm giving it again to you in layman's terms. Now, if you think about it, people, think of what I'm saying and stating to you as opposed to him, what he really truly stood for. Supposed to be this magical man pulling his sword out of a stone and all of that. There's none of that bull crap going on today. And matter of fact, none of those mythical stories are going on today. Long and behold. But I'm telling you that they all reference the reason why they sound so so fantasizing and sound like they're like so extraordinary is because of the fact that they are referencing genes and genetics. Each one of those stories, you give them to me and I can tell you what they mean. It represents a significant time in history where one of these characters, like King Arthur, them genetically sacrificed themselves, laid down their body to genetically alter themselves further from that point of being closer to our origins of our ancestors, which were black, or in their cases, theirs would have been closer to Asia and Egypt and all of them. Okay, furthering themselves, distancing themselves from that. You know why? Because that would have been closer to the point of extinction. So they're furthering themselves away from that point genetically. The ancient secrets that these people knew from all of those areas that they were raiding and all of those expeditions that they went on to all of those different other worlds and nations and places and continents, they found out the ancient grail to that of how mankind genetically altered himself, which is also in the Maya informations, ancient history. It's in the Egyptian ancient history. It's in the Angkor Wat Cambodia ancient history. It's in everybody's ancient history, and it's right there. It's just being misinterpreted. Look at my videos here, people. Because what they cannot take away, they can misinterpret the words, but this is the reason why these images are here, especially in the ancient in Egyptian times, in Angkor Wat, and in Maya, because that was the one language that everybody had in common: the pictures. Pictures do not lie. You can mess up with the with what's being written in text and script and all that, especially if it's unknown stuff. A person can say pretty much what they want to say. That's just like me going somewhere, going to some foreign country, and somebody's interpreting a language for me and calling me all a bunch of idiots and stupids and stuff, and another person that interpreted telling me that, oh, they're saying you're the nicest person in the world and all of this other, you know what I mean, this, that, and the third. I'm smiling, oh, thank you, thank you, thank you, and the guy's cussing me out in his language. You see what I'm saying, people? These scripts, these ancient texts are being purposely misinterpreted as to us to put a spin on everything more further and further away from what it is. But what I'm telling you is that these little images like this here, that witch-like woman who has about 3 faces right there, because there's one going that way, one coming this way, and if you back off of it, she's a hooded woman right there as a whole face. I can draw you right there. These multi-dimensional images do not lie. Neither do these. What is the hell is an ape doing here? Ape image. Going both ways, mind you, because one is going that way, one is coming this way, and then have the witch-like woman on top of the head. That ape face can be realized looking this way and this way. That's why the mouth looks elongated. The split is long. It can go this way or this way. Multi-dimensional images. There's no getting this wrong, people. Now, here he go again on the boat. And another thing, people, if for those of you, I know for the most part, a lot of people is believing actually what I'm stating here now, because you don't really have no other choice, because I'm nailing this on point, to be totally honest with you, with what's going on here. Now, at one point he's supposed to be pulling this thing out of a stone. Now here is a picture of King Arthur here on a lake. You're receiving the sword from the lady of the lake here. People, what kind of crap is this? What's going on? What the hell is going on? Now, logically, we know that this is not so, don't we? So, okay, so let me interpret this for you. A body of genetics. He's in a lake of genetics. Again, the sword is a genetic being extracted from that, giving him the key, almost like the key. Okay. Now, you see him reaching for the sword. He's reaching, but he's not reaching with that. He just have his hands out. That's a throw off hand. Look at what's happening here with this hand. He's touching the stern of the boat there, going down. Look at this board going down. He's bridged over. What is he bridged over with? You see this? He's telling you that he's bridged over with the boat. The only other thing in the boat is this guy right here, this old man, not doing anything but just sitting there. You know damn well he didn't have this old man with his old ass row him out here like that, because he's there with his hand in his mouth. You know what he's telling you? That King Arthur, this guy, was genetically bridged over him, and now their bodies as a combination was a genetic vessel that went into other genetics and extracted this genetic, which is in the form of the sword. They made it into a story for you. Now, for those of you that can't see this as being so, look in the water. This is another famous picture too, by the way, and you will see a silhouette of a man laying there in the water, and his arm reaching out backwards, like if he's backstroking towards the sword there. And I'm telling you, that image of this man is this man right here. And that's why you'll see him with his hand in his mouth, and you'll see all of these other discombobulated figures here in his body, which show you that they were bridged over. And this is all referencing that of genetics. How they bridged over themselves to genetically extract a gene. And they're saying from the woman of the lake, I guarantee you, if you look at that hand, 9 times out of 10, it's a black hand. Showing you how genes were being extracted, and they went and came up with creative ways to do this. and it was in the form of artwork. I mean, they couldn't lay out, they couldn't have them showing you that they're doing this to Africans or black women or people of color, Asians or Chinese and all of that. So what they did is they got creative. And this is what this is all about. This is what this is all about, people. How they extracted genes and continue to extract genes from people today. Extractions of genes. These texts, these ancient texts, are all about the extractions of genes, genetic bridging, genetic manipulation, animals being used, humans being used. And back then, they didn't have no needles and no IV and all that. They did the old-fashioned way. They drank the blood, they drank semen, and they bridged themselves over these animals. And they intermingled themselves with this. And this, people, is why you have this large spread of these homosexual acts being committed in the religious world. And you're saying, like, wow, what is this? Because they're celibate? What's going on? It's because they were bred that way, to engage these acts. This is what this was all about. They were bred that way. These homosexual acts were going on. And I'm also telling you that this stuff was actually happening, and it's being kept more of a secret. But I think as more of my videos go out and go out and go out, I'm telling you that too, within the world of the nuns, that this is going on. Lesbian acts. You know, it's my position that there is something that is more darker and more bizarre than you could possibly ever imagine. And through my paranormal experience and encounter, I can see it all, people. And I know where this is going. But look at this. Look at his hand going down. He's bridged over. Look, bridged there, bridged over. This guy here, and his silhouette in the water, his shadow reaching for the sword. He's the one. So he's bridged over him, this guy genetically, and now through his genetics, compound with him, now the sword can be gotten genetically, not pulled from the water from the lady of the lake, but genes extracted. Because now a successful bridge has been made, and that's what this is all about. You get the picture, people? Now, I might be able to have a scientific person come in and can give you, I gave it to you again in layman's terms, but I can have a scientific person come in and give it to you in a better way. You know what I mean? Once I get my act together and I get famous here, and enough of these videos goes out and somebody says, okay, enough is enough. Let's get this guy out there. We're gonna go ahead and run this. But the thing is, though, people, this thing is huge. This is in everything. Imagine, this affects everything as we know it today. It affects science. It affects religion. It affects medicine. It affects the moral of every being in this world. I mean, it's like, I mean, it'll create a complete breakdown of everything. So this is definitely is not good news, but on the other hand, this stuff needs to be addressed because it's been hidden for too long. And people are looking in all directions but the right place for this. They look at you looking for aliens. They got you looking for beings flying in on with wings and everything else there, when the truth is right there in your eyes. You know what I mean? And the reason why I feel as though that people need to know this is because it's the truth. Not just that because it's the truth, but because it's the truth. And another thing of the fact is that your behavior, you have people going insane, you have people losing their minds trying to figure out, why am I behaving this way? Why am I acting this way? Why am I doing everything right with my body, but my body is not acting right? And they're telling you that this is because you're genetically this, you're genetically that. And in some cases, people, you are. But this is not, it's not by accident. And there's things that can be done, and there's things that can be realized, and there's things that could be understand. If you're genetically bridged over these creatures and these animals, then you need to know what animals there is that you've been bridged over. You'll go and look in the direction of this and get a better understanding of who you are genetically. You will look past your mother, your father, your ancestry, you would look towards these ancestry, these animals that are in your. I mean, if you found out that you were bridged over a horse, wouldn't you want to know how a horse behave and what's going on with the horse? But this is the case. There's a record of it. Look in the records. All you have to do is keep flicking through these books. Not only just your ancient religious books, but all of them. Look at Leonardo da Vinci's work. Look at Michelangelo's work. Look at these Renaissance artists' artworks. And these animals are side by side with these beings that they claim to be divine. I'm telling you, people, this is some crazy stuff. Yeah, this is some crazy stuff. It's gonna be a new day. A new day is gonna come. All right, my name is Gerone Wright. I hope you like this video. You're on my Geronification channel. You can also catch me on Alien UFOs. And I guess I'll see you in my next video. All right, thank you. If you think about it, it all logically makes sense for the most part, because one always must ask themselves, how do you become from the most hardcore image, I guess the best way to say it, of that of being an ape. In most cases, I mean the blackest of black apes, then through to the blackest of Africans, and then you have these changes that where you're changing and changing and changing and trying to let mankind come, which a lot of people have been buying all of this time. You know what I mean? But when you start getting into our white counterparts, that's where you see extreme indifferences in the eyes, the hair. I mean, and the likenesses. I mean, they definitely deviate dramatically from that of our ape ancestor. Um, it's my position that all of this has been going on because of the fact that there's been creatures that were selected and their genetics were intervened with that of mankind's genetics, and this is where you got these different likenesses. I'm talking about lions, horses, hippopotamuses, even crocs, um, elephants. I mean, and the list goes on and on and on and on. Lions, tigers, and bears. Oh my, yeah, yeah. Stole that again from the Wizard of Oz. And what's going on is these kings and queens are bragging of it. Run across some of these images that I'm pulling up here. Now, when you look at this, you see King Arthur. When I look at this, I see King Arthur, and I see first of all that King Arthur is wearing the cloak, meaning the felt, the skin of the animal that he actually is saying, okay, I genetically overcame this creature. Now he's not inside me. I'm wearing him on the outside. I'm not wearing him on the inside no more. You know, and this is what he's stating by that. This felt that he's wearing, I'm giving that actually as being that of the ape. He's wearing it on the outside. What did he do to genetically overcome the ape? How did he beat those genetics? Well, he's telling you. If you look in the side of his cheek in the darkened area where they put these transparent images, you start seeing how he overcame. And there's one creature right there. There's the left nostril. There's a slit coming down from the mouth. There's the nose actually right there. Here's the mouth. You see that, people? Look. See the mouth line going right there? There's the eye right there. You see the head of that creature right there? Now, incredibly enough, that creature has two heads. There's mutations that they're showing you that was created from these genetics that actually, I mean, these people were wizards at what they were doing. And I mean, there were ancestral phases that are not in our history, but they knew about. Now, on the opposite side of this, look at the face of that almost of a man. Now, check this out. Now, you have a creature facing off this way here. And now, I'm going to show you where this creature came from. Everyone, Gerone right here again, and you're joining me on my Geronification channel. In this video, I'm going to be discussing that of King Arthur and what it is that this character truly stood for in his time, and why he's being commemorated now as this most wonderful king, and also behind the legendary myth of the Excalibur sword, I believe it is. Yeah, these guys, people, they're my discovery through my paranormal experience and encounter. I pretty much done narrowed this thing down to how these characters are boasting of bloodlines and how they genetically altered themselves from the originating founding genetics of mankind, which was African, coming through the Asian world, Egypt, all of them. And there's a massive record that actually depicts how it was all done. And most of it is captured in Renaissance artwork and in sculptures, and there's graphic details of how it was all done, and animals that contributed to those changes, which of what they did to genetically alter themselves from that of mankind. Now, with King Arthur, for example, about him pulling this Excalibur sword from the rock, and then there was another one where he received a sword from the lake. All of these people is genetic references about how they genetically overcame those genetics in the founding stone. Pulling that sword from the rock is meaning, therefore, that he got the key from out of the rock. I mean, he was a key factor in utilizing his body as a sacrificial tool to genetically bridge himself to change the genetics of mankind. From that point, from his era, through to the next stage, in which calls for other likenesses and genetic creations of that of mankind. And that's what that's all about. That's what his story is about. That's what most of all the ancient Renaissance stories are about. That's what the biblical stories are about. This is what all of the ancient texts are suggesting. And pretty much every passage in those texts pretty much is all talking about how they made a genetic overcoming from one point to the next. Well, anyway, I'm going to show you through. I got different pictures here of King Arthur, and I try to find the oldest images. So therefore, because the oldest are always in the rawest of form, and they give you detail, graphic detail of what is there, undeniable detail. Now these are all images that you can just Google, and you can Google King Arthur's paintings, or ancient art, or whatever, Renaissance art of King Arthur, and you came from, because this creature is not even in our history. I have a name for the simple fact because this is a mutation. It almost has like a slash rhino slash ape's face. But I'm going to show you something in a minute here. Check this out. Again, there's a nostril. There's a nostril. I wonder if I can draw this out for you. But here's the line, the separating line, like the dogs have between both lips, where it separates one lip for another. You know how the dog have like that separating line right there coming up the middle, and then there's one lip over here, the top lip, and then the other's over here, and then there's the open mouth area, and then the bottom lip is right there. You see that right there? Now check this out. This is what I'm telling you, where this gets crazy. On the back of that guy's face, where his eye is coming out, his face is shared. There's a face of a mankind image there, right there. Look, there. The eye for this guy is also the eye for this guy, facing back the opposite way. There's his nose, there's his eye, and there's his mouth. So you have a two-headed creature sharing the same head, with one likeness being that of the animal on this side, and the likeness of that of a man. And there's this mouth there, mouth line, top lip, bottom lip, chin, and nose. And then look at it, I mean, and you can see the being. They're sharing the head. This one is looking off this way, And this creature is looking off this way, and they're sharing the same eye. Can you see that, people? Let me bring that in closer so you can get a good look at that. You see that? Look at this. See those lips? Look at that lip. I'm right there at the mouth opening, right there on the lip. There's the nose. There's the chin. And there's the eye almost seemingly looking back at you. Now look at it. Actually, it almost looks like a dog face. Now look at this creature looking the other way. And they're sharing the same head. These are the mutations, these bloodlines that are created. And it gets better than this. Hold on. So stay with me.